How do we change that mindset of people to wake up to the fact that maybe the government doesn't care about us? Because I feel like a lot of I've spoken to quite a few people who are like, oh, they just don't know. This is a new situation for the government and they just don't know what they're doing, so it's not going to be perfect. But why would they do anything to hurt us?
Mm.
Like how.
That's just hopeful thinking, right?
Mhm.
That's the same kind of thinking that lead people to realize things are too late, right? And that's why let's draw a line in the sand now. Because I want to know where these people are that think it's okay, because they're out there.
Mhm.
They're only a radical minority right now, but they may become a silent majority where they think it's okay to convince these people to line themselves up and stand in a ditch ready to be shut down because they've been deemed unclean and a liability
Mhm.
in society, which is why we can't invest too much hope in, I think we're estimating like 500,000 truckers, but we'll
Mhm.
find out by the time this is published. And I sincerely hope they succeed in turning this narrative around. But
Mhm.
ultimately, if we really have 500,000 truckers appearing in Ottawa, that's fantastic. But what would be even better than that is those 500,000 people having a 500,000 conversations with a 500,000 silent
Mhm.
people that don't want to talk about this issue.
Mhm.
Because, like you say, they've invested too much and they have too much trust in government. And that's where we fail. And we forget people aren't educated to remember, or they're deliberately uneducated to forget where the power of government comes from.
Mhm.
And it's from the people. And in a fair market, in a fair democratic system, these systems would preserve themselves. But like we say, anytime we give people that trust, there's always opportunity for exploitation. And we would hope these people aren't allowed to thrive because people among them or under them or above them would hold them accountable for making these poor decisions based on health or public policy. But we don't get these opportunities because on an individual level, uh, medical professionals, politicians, students are cast out and are ridiculed for having a different stance. And in a broader sense, like there are no universities that have a different mandate.
Mhm.
After uh, I'm sure some conversation happened in the back room in Ottawa, and all these universities together and agreed on what policies they would and would not impose for the
Mhm.
benefit of these politicians who were more than happy to impose these mandates because I don't doubt they got a slice of the profits
Mhm.
from Big Pharma. So, because there was never a university that was allowed to do anything different, or a business is not allowed to conduct itself differently.
Mhm.
Uh, that's not a fair market model. That's market infringement. That's manipulation. That's the kind of exploitation that allows consumers to suffer. And we're talking about people that want to get educated, and there's no other options to get
Mhm.
educated except self-education. But that doesn't hold much merit because, again, most professional employers, most government employers, not only do you need this vaccine, but you need government approved education to get
Mhm.
these placements in society. And what hope is there for people like us that want alternatives? And we're going to be barred and restricted by all this red tape that doesn't allow people to open their own businesses or their own academic institutions that allow people to do things differently. And I'd be extremely speculative of like imposing mandates on even medical workers, nurses, and doctors, because we don't have an opportunity for a hospital to do it differently. Because
Mhm.
ultimately, my belief is that people that really care about the medicine would have critically evaluated it and decided it's not necessary.
Mhm.
And although they're excluded from our government approved healthcare, there would be opportunities for them in private health like there is in the States. And we would see how those hospitals are allowed to outperform public health, which
Mhm.
is why in a fair market, in a fair democracy, there would be options, but it doesn't seem like there are very many options at this point. And we have provincial elections this year, but I'm not optimistic because, as we saw in